Hard things, studying, reading, cold showers, working out. We all know that these habits build your dream life. But let's be honest over here, they are fucking difficult. And because they're fucking difficult, you don't want to do them. And our brains want this dopamine instantly, not later, and we want it easily too as well. But what if I told you that there was a way to make doing hard things easier than scrolling on YouTube? Exactly, like flipping a mental switch that turns effort into momentum. So let's hit the whiteboard with these 3 graphs, and I assure you, you'll never see discipline the same way again. Alright, let's start off with graph 1, being the pain versus reward paradox. I have 2 lines over here. The red line representing instant gratification, also known as IG over here, and the blue line, which represents delayed gratification, also known as DG over here. Simplifying it down because it's bare long to write delayed gratification. It's gonna take up the whole fucking whiteboard. Alright, let's move on though. The first curve, instant gratification in red. What I mean by this is scrolling on TikTok, watching Netflix, binge eating food for example, or even waking up late. You feel absolutely so pleasurable doing it in the moment, right? When you scroll on TikTok, for example, you get those fast instant dopamine hits, spiking your dopamine level. But what must come up must come down. So the short term over here feels good, the spike. But in the long term, you're left soft, you're left tired, and you're left unconfident. By the long term, I don't just mean weeks or months to come. I mean even at the end of the day, when you're looking back, reflecting at your day like, damn, what have I done today? You will feel like shit. Now let's look at the blue curve, the delayed gratification curve. This can be the gym, deep work flow states, eating clean, waking up on time and early, cold showers. It is very painful up front. You're sweating, you're tired, you're in pain. But here's the difference. It builds momentum. You'll feel sharper, you'll feel more confident, and your self-image, your self-esteem will skyrocket. That's the paradox over here. Instant gratification destroys your future. Delayed gratification builds your future. So pain now, pleasure later, or pleasure now, pain later. As you can see over here, in the long run, with delayed gratification, you will get more reward. When I say more reward, that could be a better physique. It could be that business, making 10K a month on that business. It could be that dream career. Whereas when you're indulging in instant gratification, what do you have? Fucking obesity and type 2 diabetes. No bread. Homeless. What? So it's always going to be a trade. That's exactly why I say your decisions today will define your tomorrow. So you have to choose wisely on that. But even when you know this, your brain still resists. You want to do the work. You understand that, yep, my decisions today will define my tomorrow. But you still can't start. And that's exactly what we'll be going over in the friction versus flow curve. Let's get it. Let's draw. Bang. So this curve explains exactly why starting feels impossible. You see the first few minutes over here, this is the friction. This is you trying to work, but your brain is resisting that work so much. This can be you sitting down to study, opening your notes, and your brain just going blank. Or you just end up going on YouTube and watching them brothers building pools in their backyard in random forests. This is because your prefrontal cortex is not warmed up. Your brain is not warmed up before going into this heavy study session or heavy work session. But once you push past this, the 2 key chemicals for your focus being dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine being for motivation, norepinephrine being for focus and sharpness. Once you hit this point, there is no friction. You are in a flow state. You literally feel pulled into your work, and the only thing important in your life at that moment is the task at hand. It's a beautiful state, and this is exactly where work becomes effortless, where you can enjoy doing these hard things. Don't worry about this. Focus Stack, second link in the description. It will teach you how to get into this flow state and eliminate all resistance within 3 minutes. So you can get to this point over here, into that flow state as easily as possible and smash your work. So you've understood instant gratification and delayed gratification. You know we should be doing more of the delayed gratification activities. You're struggling to do the delayed gratification activities, and now I've told you exactly how to not struggle with those delayed gratification activities. What happens if you do this over a long enough period? And now I'll be going over the compound growth line. This curve that I'm going to go right here is going to be your discipline baseline. When I say ease of effort, I mean the amount of effort required in order to do the specific task that you're doing. At the start, it's at the very bottom because you're forcing yourself to show up. Everything feels heavy. You know, the working, the training, whatever it may be, there's so much friction. But gradually, you've learned how to overcome that friction. What does that mean for this graph? Every time that you push through, your brain rewires itself. You're teaching it, yeah, this is normal. This is me. This is who I am. I am a disciplined person. I get my shit done. I'm locked in. So each day, the line rises very, very slowly. And over time, the effort needed to start, the effort needed to do the task, which for some reason seems harder than scrolling on YouTube, becomes fucking easy. And that's exactly why people say, yeah, over time discipline gets easier. It's just the beginning which is a little bit difficult. They're right. It's not you'll randomly or magically get addicted to discipline. It's neurology. It's the way your brain works. It's the way your body adapts to this workload. Your comfort zone eventually expands to fit your goals, to fit your day-to-day life. And here's the simple truth. You don't get rid of that resistance. You raise your baseline above it. The higher that baseline climbs, the less that you need to fight yourself each day in order to get up and go get it. That's exactly the point where you start looking forward to gym. That's exactly the point where you start looking forward to working. That's the point where you start looking forward to studying and getting those high grades. And this is exactly the point where hard things feel even more funner than scrolling on YouTube. So now you've got it. If this video helped you and you're serious about building your structure, having daily accountability, and exploding and skyrocketing your productivity to the next level, book your free strategy call, first link in the description. And remember, at the very top, your decisions today will define your tomorrow.